Hello and welcome. My name is Sheep Thief, and today I'll be coming at you with a Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings Enhanced Edition single-player computer game gameplay review. I'm a little sick, so you may hear me expel mucus from my nose a number of times, but those of you who are familiar with the channel will know that that is quite a common occurrence. So, overall this game was great, but I will actually start with a complaint, which is that the saved game system is really janky. It just picked up. But you can see the way the saves are organized. You can't name the save. It's all pretty, and there are just a million of them. Look at all this. So, and considering the fact that they're like different areas, makes it, I'm not a big fan of the save system. But let's take a look at, let's go through the areas one by one. So I think this is kind of where I wanted to go. Let's see if I can. So this is one of my favorite areas. I think this area really impressed me. This game came out in 2011, and it really looks good. Look at this. These trees are beautiful. Some of the best looking trees I've seen in a video game are in this game. This is just one of the best looking forests in a video game. You really get this sense of sort of being dwarfed by these trees. The atmosphere is good. I can see there's a lot of mist in the background, which makes it so that, which I know on the technical end is sort of a shortcut for not having to load much onto the computer, onto the RAM. But I think it looks fine, and I think these like illusions, working with what you have, I think is the key to being a good game developer. Like, this is 2011, and this looks better than most forests I've seen in video games. Look at that. Like, when was the last time you guys saw a forest that looks like it? I chose the path of the alchemist, and one of the like most rewarding things was the alchemy, making all the different potions and bombs and stuff. And wandering around this forest, you can see there's like a old totem there. Trees are so good. You get the ferns. Look at the ferns. Like, this is more than enough vegetation for me. And this game's from 2011. Very nice. Look at the little haze of mist. Just excellently done. I really loved this portion of the game. The city I was less crazy about, but we'll take a look at it. I will say that it really did capture the feeling of a sort of late medieval city well. So that's an accomplishment unto itself. There's this sort of slum over here, which is good. Kind of with the treehouse feeling over there. This wall is nice and realistic, not too big. Some walls in video games are like way too big. This is a realistic wall. Nice weird little totem there. So you can see here that there are a lot of, it's not an open world game. There are sectors of the map that you go along with.
Finally, we'll show the non-human rabble their place.
Yeah, so what's going on here is this kind of ties into
We were too good to you. Fattened yourselves on our toil.
This kind of ties into the plot of the game, which I would say, you know, it's not
A damn massacre. Those sons of bitches have gone mad. I have to find Triss.
It's dark. It's definitely adult. I would not recommend this for a child or even a young teenager. maybe an older teenager would be able to handle it. There's some nudity, which I'm generally kind of against, but it wasn't, by today's standards, it's not that bad. Nothing different than like Game of Thrones. You can see some of it's pretty dark. Hangings, race riots. This is essentially a race riot. Cities being burned, but just look at the just as far as the execution goes, really nice, very atmospheric. I think by today's standards there aren't that many characters on screen. I think maybe with modern technology you could have a few more moving parts going on with characters going around. So yeah, that pretty much sums up the interiors of the
You're killing innocents.
Places are
Who was it that
impressive.
slaughtered our Geralt?
Okay, it looks like
So what'll
I
it
chose
be,
kind of
innkeeper?
a
They killed
harsh-
my son. Damned elves. I want their blood for that.
So we'll just.
You... What do you...
You
Could... Thank you, Gwynbleidd.
The sooner
we
we
could-
flee the...
Take... Who opened the gates of...
What I want to do here, we'll just load a different game. No, my mouse isn't working. I don't know why. Vergen besieged. Yeah, so the other place that I got, I wasn't as big a fan of the middle section of the game where you're in the Dwarven city. I don't know why. I felt like I got stuck there a little too long. We'll take a look at it. So yeah, we can look at some interiors here. This is the Dwarven pub tavern. It looks good. It's a little. I might just be sort of a dwarf hater. I'm not really that impressed by the Dwarven way of life, as some people are. But yeah, this is like, the interiors are nice, like the lighting is great. Look at the
one human in
the lighting is very realistic. Like there's no source of light that isn't, that doesn't make sense. You can turn off the lights. It looks pretty organic. You definitely feel like you're showing up into the middle of a medieval bar. Fist fights, drinking. Yeah, just the lighting. The lighting is great. And I don't even really like dwarves.
He travels the land.
I know that there is another
monsters for coin.
option. Like, if I'd chosen to go with Vernon Roche, then I wouldn't have gotten to this area, and I would have gone to a whole other area. Which, just for the record, with this game, there are multiple different plot paths that you can take, which feels strong. Like, I'm very curious about what I missed out on. Makes me want to play it again. But yeah, this part of the game, I felt like I got a little bogged down. As you guys may know, it took me a long time to finish this, mostly due to stuff that I'm doing IRL. Look at the rain, very nice. I always like rain in video games. But yeah, this area, the town was a little confusing to me. Very vertical. Streets didn't really make sense. The map, if you pull up the map, very nice map, and you've got this sort of medieval map as well. But this was a little hard to navigate, but honestly, once I got it down, it was rewarding. So I think that was just a good challenge thing. I guess I didn't really like the atmosphere of this place. I like it when it's raining out. Normally it's sort of sunny, a little cold feeling. You're up in the mountains, but not in a good way. I'm okay with cold. And I just don't like dwarves. I don't like their stupid faces.
Look, the worms are coming out.
But the gameplay is definitely challenging. I guess that's what we'll sort of tie into next, is the... Let's see if I can find a... Let's see... I think, like... Is this what I'm thinking about? No. Oh yeah, that was so hard. We'll talk about that final area soon. Where the Eternal Battle, is that what it was? I wish it'd show me. See, this is like I'm not a fan of this. Let's just try this.
It's Sorcerer's Head.
Oh, no.
Unclean fire.
This was
We're
not
doomed.
fun.
Why are they doing this?
But it
As
might
the prophecy
illustrate the
saith,
point.
and the time will come when sorceresses turn on men. Flaming.
We'll do another one. I will say that I think by today's standards would seem a little. It's kind of like there's one answer to the fight, and if you don't get it, there aren't really other ways around it. I often kind of cheese my way through some of those fights with bombs. Let's see, what am I thinking about? Honestly, that like first, we could go to the first one. Yeah, here. So like this is the I would call this the definitive Witcher combat here. Protect King Foltest. So you can see the combat. You've got your silver sword and your steel sword, but just look at the animations here. So like if I just left click, there's this sort of spinning attack, and you're encouraged to block a little. What I wish they'd get rid of is the like Dark Souls roll. It looked like the animation. Look at the animation. It's great. Definitely feels tight too, but like that's not very realistic. But everything else,
Give me splinters.
let's see if we can get another. Look at this. Isn't this cool? Like this feels like I'm in a medieval battle right now. And so you can see the sword play is really nice. I will say that. It feels oh yeah, okay, I didn't unlock something, so I just died. Yeah, and it's difficult too. But yeah, I would give the animations and the like human-on-human combat a 10 out of 10. I would give the human-on-monster standard monster combat a 10 out of 10. The combat against the bosses, I'd say, was a little more hit or miss. Sometimes the bosses could be a little frustrating, and you really can get one hit. I would call this game, if you're not min-maxing and you're not you're not just sort of cheesing stuff, I would call it a very difficult game. I played it on hard. There's an even harder difficulty. Could be a little hit or miss in my opinion. We'll talk about right now is the music. The music, very nice, very good music. The final area of the game was sort of irritating to me.
Prepare for your final lesson.
I kind of rushed it. I didn't quite understand what everyone was doing here, but I will say that the plot really did tie together, and there were some really satisfying things you could do. Like I killed I had a witch that I really didn't like. I like got her arrested and her eyes got gouged out, and it was almost too brutal, but I will not deny that it was satisfying in a sort of depraved way. So the plot was definitely tied together in this area, but I didn't quite understand why this city was here, which might be a shortcoming on my part, trying to understand the lore of the game. But again, just look at this. Look at the environment. This is from 2011, 14 years ago. Beautiful, beautiful environment. Textures are great. Just the like architecture makes sense. It feels like you're there. It's big feeling. And the people, look at the clothing.
The absence of certain people.
Look at her
the absence
dress.
of others, downright astounding.
Look at this, definitely a late medieval, maybe even sort of Renaissance feeling to the dress.
And hue of scarf.
How are you?
These like
How are
prostitutes or something.
you, experimental?
Prepare for your final lesson.
There are witches everywhere. My main,
I'll have no discussion. This will be a practical object.
my main
lesson.
stance on the politics is that the witches should have no involvement in the running of societies. They're obviously conniving and petty and degenerate. Whoa. Here are these gargoyles were hard to fight. The city ruin. I don't know. I liked it. It was good. I sort of wish I'd had more time to look around it. I think I missed a bunch of
How
stuff.
dare they?
Calm down.
Why do we allow it?
But definitely strong.
Even the
What's in
Nilfgaardians
here?
have graced us.
Locked.
Your Excellency knows well that our hosts
Yeah, I
are
definitely missed a
libertines
ton of
and
stuff in here.
eccentrics.
My dear counselor,
Arian Lavalette. What's he doing here? Yeah, I missed so much in this area. I honestly can't comment
Forgive
on it.
me,
All I can say is that
Excellency, but I must
it's
disagree.
a well
Let us be
designed area, and they tied the plot together pretty well in here.
Interix, John Times.
Trying to think what else I would add about this. I really want to play The Witcher 3 now. I feel like I've seen some footage of it, and the graphics in The Witcher 3 are actually worse than this, is what I seem to notice, which makes sense because the game is gigantic. I'm a little worried it won't run on my computer,
Stop treating us like a victim.
but
We're dangerous and armed, with the authority of the victor from Brenna behind us.
I really do want to play it, and I will. I definitely will. So let's talk about some of the game systems. So like I said, the swordplay is great. I sort of wish there were some other weapons that you could get into, but I do like the dichotomy of the silver and steel sword. Very cool and compelling. There was at one point there was a weapon that was sort of like a little mace with spikes on it that I wanted to use, and it like wasn't very good. So it would be kind of cool to have other weapons than what I have. If we look at the inventory, there are these bombs which were overpowered, and then there are throwing knives which I enjoyed them. I sort of in video games I find throwing knives as like a spam thing. This is pretty nitpicky, but it's not like The Witcher 2 is the only game that's made this mistake. But I sort of feel like a throwing knife should be more tactical and higher risk, high reward. I sort of think how they work in like Call of Duty, where you get like an instant kill if you hit someone with a throwing knife. Sort of like a skill shot kind of thing, as opposed to a spammable thing. You can see I have 32 of these things. You can really spam these things and kill people with them. It's also not super realistic, but whatever, that's fine. They're cool. The traps I didn't get into much, but very cool, especially in the sort of monster hunting gameplay. I wish and look how much damage that does. I actually sort of wish I'd done more of that. That's actually crazy. The potions were really cool. First of all, the names of the potions, just sick. We'll talk about the alchemy in a second. You can add oil to your blades. You can use a whetstone on them. Just the amount of sort of systems that they have to enhance what you're doing, all made sense. They thematically made sense. Like nothing was out of place technologically or anything like that. What was sort of out of place technologically is this DNA stuff, but I found it cool. It made it feel like it added a sort of visceral aspect to the Witcher reality, which is that you're a mutant, and like on a cellular level you're different. I don't quite understand how Witchers are made, but very cool. The trophy thing, sick. A bunch of games have done that since, so I think a lot of people overlook that, but I think this is one of the first games that lets you hold a trophy around like that, which you can't knock that. Very cool. All of the different ingredients the system here was cool. Near the end, I started running out of some ingredients for certain things, which actually prevented me from making bombs, so maybe that was good, but it was a little frustrating to not be able to get my hands on them. But maybe that was good, because I would have spammed the bombs even harder. So I think that was good. The crafting, I didn't make many. I made one set of armor. Other than that, I just wore armor I found. I didn't quite understand the selling system. Everything seemed to cost tons and tons of money. I did not understand how I was supposed to get the amount of money that I needed to do some of the stuff. Unlocking all the different diagrams was good. And then there was like junk too. Yeah, no junk. Some of the junk was cool. I sort of wish they'd mixed in some of the junk. The books were all nice. I like books in video games. Very good. And then the weapons. Swords, armor. Again, I sort of wish I could access some of the weapons that the other enemies had, and armor sets. There's some really nice looking, see if we can find some really nice looking late medieval armor that people are wearing. Let's take a look. This guy.
What does your excellency
I wish I could wear that.
Natalis' promotion?
A truly masterful stroke.
But
I wonder
this
who's
game
behind
is not an RPG. You're not. You have to play as.
This awful experiment went off.
What are your
You have to play as
conclusions
Geralt
about this
of
situation?
Rivia.
Conclusions? What's
There's no-
instructive about
You're not
it?
making your own character, and there's a
What of
solid story.
Francesca Findabair and
Good
that
story.
friend of hers.
Let's see if we can find some. Some soldiers with some good armor. Yeah, I wish I could wear what that guy's wearing.
Barbarian.
This guy's wearing. Gotta be some soldiers in here.
magic, I tell you. Shatter your
That one's okay.
crystal balls.
Freak!
I saw a bunch of these guys with these like sort of loincloths. Didn't quite understand that. I don't know if that's normal. See, like their armor's sick. Right there, that armor's awesome. But this game's from 2011, and I don't think anyone's gonna pay attention to my whims. But yeah, I'd say overall, I'm trying to think what else to talk about. We can talk about, there's this like meditation.
At your service.
Can't do it. Action can't be performed here, why? Let's just load another game. We'll just kind of talk about... What else is there to talk about? Yeah, I got bogged down in the Dwarven City really hard. I liked the beginning phase the most. At one point I got drunk and I woke up with a tattoo. That was cool. The quests were great. Great quests. So if you meditate, you can drink potions, relatively straightforward. Meditate was just having time go by. The alchemy, I liked it. I actually feel like they could make it more complex. If I were making an RPG, I think you could make it even more complex. But this is the perfect amount. Maybe like an MMO, I'd make it more complex. Sitting on here. And then the level ups were, as you can, actually you can't see it here, but I went fully into alchemy because it's just sort of unique. The other one was the swordplay, which I think if I were going to play again, I would do that. The last one is magic, which I found kind of cheesy which is which is sort of rich for me to say as a bomb spammer, but this is the other path. Is there anything that cool? Yeah, I could see these becoming, yeah, incinerate foes. So, and I like maxed out the alchemy and didn't really do anything else, so definitely you could go with vastly different playthroughs depending on what you do. You could do all in on one of each of these three. You could do a mix, and I'm sure there's a way to spam level up so you're like maxed out too. Not quite sure how you would do that, but there's always a way. So I found this compelling. Not like an RPG where you can do anything, but three solidly different paths, which is nice. So I think that pretty much concludes it. I will give my final thoughts. Go to the main menu. I'd say 100% recommend. It honestly outclasses a ton of new games in its maturity. It does not treat you like a baby. It does not treat you like some sensitive snowflake liberal. It does not judge you for making certain decisions. And in other ways it does, but it judges you in a sophisticated way. Like I let a witch explode, and that was... I had to do it. I had a witch's eyes gouged out. I chose the elves sometimes, the humans other times, you know. I did feel like my will was being imposed on the plot. The combat very challenging. I would call it more challenging than most modern games. I would call it similarly challenging to like Dark Souls and stuff like that, if you're looking for something to give you a hard time. And I didn't even do it on Nightmare difficulty. I think that would be the next thing to try doing is Nightmare difficulty, which would definitely make it cool, because the sword play, what I'd like to do is Nightmare difficulty, sword play only, no bombs, no daggers, no... I think you have to use potions, but maybe no potions. That would be hard. So gameplay good, plot good, and then just one of the main reasons I play video games is just the beauty of a game. And this one, the environments were very beautiful. Love obviously put into the environments, into the models of the characters, into the animations, into the different monsters, all of which are, from my understanding, somewhat tied into Slavic and Germanic, European lore, folklore. The effects, I will say the magic effects were not over the top. No, like it wasn't like Harry Potter, you know, where there's sort of laser beams going around all over the place. It was more subtle than that. Very subtle, tasteful magic in this game. Very subtle, tasteful potions. Very subtle, tasteful animations. A pleasure to play. A beauty to behold. I would give this game a 9.3 out of 10. Some of it might feel a little dated these days, but honestly it's a breath of fresh air. New games have been really bad recently, and the only thing that I sort of miss in this game is the sort of, I think we've become very accustomed to open world status, where you can kind of like wander places, and load screens are starting to feel a little archaic. But it kind of made me appreciate the environment a little more. And it definitely made it so that the people who made the game put more effort into the environments. They actually felt a little more put together than a lot of open worlds, so. That's pretty much all. I'm going to play The Witcher 3 at some point here. If it works well on my computer. If it doesn't, if I can't run it on relatively good, let's see, what kind of graphics was I running here? Graphics. Okay, I think it was actually in the launcher you set the graphics. So I might not have even had this on high graphics. I'm not really sure. But if The Witcher 3 looks terrible, I might wait till I get a new computer, which will be at some point here. So but it's coming, and I'm looking forward to it. I started The Witcher 3 a long time ago and didn't get super far into it, but it was definitely cool. That one is very much open world. I'm curious to see how they do it, and at this point I'm kind of invested in the plot. I'm anti-witch. I guess I'm pro Triss, because she was pretty ignorant of what they were doing, but she needs to be like, she needs to be in the kitchen and not leaving the kitchen ever. So that's my plans for Triss. And then I'm not super anti-elf. Normally I'm anti-elf in computer games, but in this one I wasn't. I liked Yorvith. He was cool. The humans could be a little like pig-headed. I liked Foltest, but he got slumped. I liked Letho. Geralt is a degenerate. I don't really like that, but I mean, I guess if you're a mutant, I guess he doesn't really technically have a soul, so whatever. And yeah, we'll see what we can do in The Witcher 3, and I'll see you guys in that one. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming with me on this Witcher 2 journey, and I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.